Welcome again to Let's Get Real, episode 9.
Thank you once again for having me. I'm happy to be here and happy to share what we're about to talk about. It's a very important topic.
Great. So, our top, well, let's cheers first with coffee.
Cheers. You gotta start the day with some coffee. Cheers.
By the way, it's like 6 something in the morning, and we're grinding already. So today's episode is about mental reset. How does positive thinking affect your mental health?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say that you're not alone. Mental health is a serious condition, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of guts, to admit that you are suffering from mental health. We live in a society where sometimes men actually, to them it's like they could deal with it and not share, their story, what's going on, or what's happening inside their minds. That just because being a man, and admitting that you have mental health doesn't make you less of a man, So communication is key. Share what you're going through. Speak to a therapist if you don't want to talk to a family member. And mental health is something that is affecting a lot of people right now at this moment. But what mental health means to me is just reflecting on, on going within and experiencing and feeling what you're going through, your emotions, and sharing those emotions with somebody else and not holding everything in, because if you hold everything in, it's like a ticking time bomb, right? So mental health is very dear, it's very close to me, because of my situation and what I've been through in life. And I'm a living proof that you could change, and it has been an easy path. It's been a difficult path, but staying consistent and working on your mindset every day is very important. That's the key.
Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
So what does positive thinking actually means to you, and how has it shown up in your life during difficult moments?
Oh man, positive thinking means at this moment, it means everything to me. It's something that I have to do every day. It's a practice. It's a mindset. You have to change your mindset to believe that, things are gonna get better. You cannot just, feel like there's no hope, and working on your mindset every day is a commitment. It's something that you have to dedicate yourself to do every single day. Not once a week or twice a week. It has to be every single day. It's an everyday mentality, to work on your mindset. All right. I always think about it this way, and I want to share it with you. Think about working on your mind every day like you shower every day. We're programmed to shower every day. We're programmed to eat every day. So why not work on your mindset every day? That's something that you're doing for you. Personal development is something very, very important, and working on yourself, you gotta work on yourself harder than you work at your job. That's something that Jim Rohn, and I'm gonna give him credit for that. Rest in peace. And just make it a goal that you're gonna do something at least 10 minutes that's gonna affect your mindset, that's gonna power your mindset, and it's gonna get you going, right? So positive thinking is something that it could help you get out of the rut.
So what I found was that, like when, and I used to practice this a long time, like The Secret, right? When you say that something, like when you put something out there, when you write something down, right, that becomes reality, right? Like when you put something out in the universe, that becomes reality. When you say, you're heading somewhere, and you know that area that has no parking, but you're like, I'm gonna find a spot. There's a spot there waiting for me. Exactly. I find it that when you think positively, that things come to fruition. So I think that's important.
Yes, manifestation. You gotta put it out there. Don't be afraid. Sometimes it won't happen, but just keep believing, keep the faith. It's like a game. Like you never know if you're gonna win or lose. So
exactly.
Just manifest what you want and put it out there.
Thank you. So do you think that you think positive thinking can truly change someone's mental health, or is it more about how you respond to challenges?
I think it's both. Mental health could affect, behavior. It could affect you to the point where you don't want to deal with nobody. Like, it brings you into a dark place. Like, when you're depressed, that's something that is hard to get out of. And if you decide that you don't want the help and that you're just gonna stay in your room, and stay away from everybody, that's not doing anything for you. Yes, I know we need a mental break, from everything, where we isolate ourselves, give ourselves a break. But once you start going 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days, then you have a problem. And that's when you gotta start talking to somebody. So
it's hard. It's not easy.
It's easier said than done. I know it for myself, because I didn't want to speak about it, and my wife was always wondering what's going on with me, and I didn't want to talk. And until the day that I decided that enough is enough, I need to speak up and share what's going on. And I started talking to a therapist, working with a psychiatrist, and they helped me. They really helped me. And they introduced me to a lot of different coping skills that I have applied, to my life. That's one thing. It's not just hearing it. You got to do it. You got to put in the work. Because you're saying that you're gonna get help and saying that you're gonna get better. Just saying it's not gonna do anything. You gotta take action.
Exactly. So one of the things that I always tell people, right, when I do my presentations about mental health, is that we were raised, in the culture where people thought that if you saw a therapist, there was something wrong with you. What do you think about that thought?
Right now, the way I think about it is that if you don't seek help, then something's definitely wrong with you. Like, if you don't seek the help, then you holding it in, and it's just a matter of time where, like I mentioned before, it's like a ticking time bomb. If you don't seek the help now, you are gonna go off. And I tell you, you gotta seek that help. Don't be afraid. I know that you believe that people are gonna make fun of you, but they'll make fun of you regardless. So why not do something that's gonna better your life, and it's gonna better your family, and it's gonna be something that's gonna be for you. It's gonna benefit you, and be a better, producer in whatever endeavor you have,
No, and a better co-worker. One of the things that I also mention is that when you were going through your situation, I kind of blame myself for not recognizing the signs, but I also didn't know the signs. I knew about mental health. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I was ignorant to it. I know about mental health, but I just didn't know what you were going through. And I just thought, you were lazy and you didn't want to go to work, and and you were stuck in your room, and it gave me anxiety, because it's I need you to speak. I can't guess what's wrong with you. So I understand. I truly understand. If you're going through something and you feel like you can't even talk to your spouse, or your spouse doesn't understand. I was that spouse that couldn't understand. I was that one that was putting pressure on my husband, and I'm not happy to say this, and I'm not I'm ashamed to even talk about this. But at the same time, it's important that you talk about these things, these topics, because this is what helps all of us, right? Our situation could help someone that's going through it right now. And I think that it's important that we definitely bring it, to everybody, to light, right? And that everybody knows that, we're not a perfect couple, that we've been through a lot, and that we're definitely a work in progress.
Yes, we all are work in progress. So don't be afraid that, all you see these couples and they're having a perfect life. No. Listen, it's okay not to be okay. You're having a certain issue, and you gotta recognize the signs, right? You gotta recognize the sign in your spouse, and recognize that something is not right, and you gotta speak about it. Don't let them be in their moment and stuff like that. If you see that multiple days that this is going on, then you gotta speak up and see. You gotta start showing that you are concerned, for that, for your spouse or significant other. So yes, be mindful of that.
Thank you. So have you ever experienced a mental reset moment where changing your mindset helped you move forward? and what happened?
Yes, I got to the point where, enough was enough. I was sitting in my room one time and I felt the depression coming back. I felt the anxiety coming back. And I caught it just in time and I said, no, enough is enough. I'm going to seek the help that I need. I'm going to work on myself. So it first started, in August of last year, where constantly I started working on my mindset every day. I started, doing exercise every day. So I made a commitment that I'm going to discipline my mind. Discipline is key. Motivation is only going to last for a moment. It's not going to last. You might be motivated for 2 days, 3 days, but you got to get to the point where discipline is the key to everything, and you got to discipline your mind and reset your mind, that this is what you're going to do.
And it's contagious.
It's definitely contagious, and you are living proof of that, because once I started doing my routines every day,
I was watching.
She was watching, and it rubbed off on her. So yes, positive action, discipline, working on yourself every day, could also motivate others, and I believe that's my purpose in life, and just share my story, motivate people, whether they watch it or not, if I could get one viewer, one like, I don't care. I made a difference in that person, but
I think it's important that we share our story, right? That everybody shares their story, and that everybody understands that you're in an imperfect world, and we're imperfect people, and we're gonna go through situations, and we're gonna go through ups and downs. There could be today you could be at your lowest point, but there's an opportunity for you to get to a higher point, right, in your life. And I know a lot of times people say, oh my gosh, I have a black cloud following me all the time. Yeah, that cloud could be following you, but if you positively think I'm getting rid of this cloud today, I'm done. It's gonna be gone. If you put it in the universe and you think positive, and also thinking positively also is speaking the things that come out of your mouth, right? Because we talk about speaking positively, but we also let's talk about talking about people, right? Condemning, criticizing, that is also in the universe. So you could sit here and talk all this positivity, but if you're criticizing other people and you're condemning other people, then how is that gonna come back to you, that positive energy? Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's you gotta be mindful that there's a law of karma, and everything you say is like a boomerang, so it could be turned right back to you. So be careful what you're wishing, for others. That if you're wishing bad on others, just be careful. You don't know that person is covered and blessed by God, and
or even not even wish bad,
yeah,
but just criticize, oh, look at this one, look at this,
is no good.
Gossiping, and and also the malintent that some people have, with people, when a person walks into the room, right away they look at them look at this one, look at the body dysmorphia, a lot of the stuff that's very offensive, and it affects other humans, right? I think we need to wake up every morning and be a better version of ourselves. We're not going to be perfect, but a little version, just a little tiny bit, better than what we were yesterday. I think that helps, right?
That's the ultimate goal. And Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. He believed in. He always used to say Mamba mentality, right? Which means becoming the best version of yourself. So every day you go out there, and whatever endeavor you have, become the best version of yourself. Whatever goals you are pursuing, just becoming better every day. That should be the ultimate goal, right? So make that your commitment, make that your goal, that every day you're gonna be better than yesterday. And make progress every day.
Yes. Thank you. So what are some realistic ways people can practice positive thinking without ignoring real struggles or emotions?
Some of the things that I do is, like I mentioned before, I start my day with meditation. Meditation is very important. I recommend that 100%. Meditation and prayer, it goes hand in hand. So that's one of the things that I do to start my day. And then after I finish that, I listen to motivational speeches. I made it a goal to listen to motivational speeches every day. I feel like it's mind food for me. When you feed your mind positive things, you know, you're listening to different videos, positivity, you know, all these celebrities talking about the secrets of success, and people that have gone, right, that have, you know, they left this world and they still impact us with, you know, with their words. You know, one of the guys that I listen to a lot, his name is Bob Proctor, and I always think about it, it's like, look, this guy left this world and he's still impacting people, and that's the impact you want to live in the world.
Legacy.
You know, it's
right?
legacy. Yes.
Forget about like, oh, what, you know, the gossip that people spoke about you. Leave a legacy. If you leave a legacy, you will always remember that person. Like, my father's gone, right? He's been gone, you know, God bless him. For it's gonna be May 1st will be 2 years, and my father left a legacy because everyone that knew my father, he had an impact on them. You know, he made a difference. You know, and you know, of course, on his own, you know, his own daughters, you know, his wife. But to be that person where you're not taking space on earth and you're actually making a difference is such an impactful, you know, thing to be, right? Like, or to leave behind, right?
Yes, it's like you mentioned, it's a legacy, and that's one of the things that you're gonna leave behind is your legacy, your character, who you were. You know, I know when we leave this earth, this body stays behind, but our spirit will go, and it's gonna go back to the source that gave it. And I always believe in this thing that David Goggins said. He's a motivational speaker, toughest man on earth, I believe he is. David Goggins said that imagine that you go to heaven if you believe in God. He said, imagine if you go to heaven and you gotta face God, and he brings out a chart. Let me borrow this for a second. He brings out this chart and he starts reading to you. Sergio Ramirez, you know, motivational speaker, you know, content creator, you know, author, you know, mental health coach, fitness motivator, whatever it is that he's saying here. And then you look at God, right? You look at God back and say, yeah, that's not me. And God says, that's who you're supposed to be.
Wow.
That's who you're supposed to be. So discover your purpose, what it is that, you know, the universe, God, whoever you believe in wants you to do on earth. All right? Because you will be questioned when you get, what did you do to leave this world a better place? Right?
You know, it's funny that you say that because I've done it all. And then when people see me, they're like, what are you doing now? And I think that you have to like just chase your dream, chase what you love, you know, and find that niche, you know, and now don't stop chasing it until you find it, right? And that's my big belief, right? I believe that you need to keep chasing. It's like butterflies, right? You know how butterflies is like just freely, like I love butterflies, and I think that I use that concept a lot because I see butterflies as like freedom, as like the choice, you know, also the beautiful colors that they become. Be whatever you want to be, you know. I think it's important that you do that, right? Because you won't live with regrets and you won't die, you know. And people say like who this person was, like they'll remember you for a few days, but then they'll forget, you know.
Exactly.
So it's important that you leave that memory, that legacy, that wow, that I remember this person, and this person never gave up. This person just kept on going, you know. I think that's important.
That's what you want. You're gonna leave something that is gonna make an impact even when you're gone. And I'm gonna touch on the butterfly thing. If you think about it, we are like butterflies. So a butterfly, before it starts the process, it's a caterpillar, right? Caterpillar is on its leaves. All it does is crawl on its belly all day, eats leaves all day, until the point that the caterpillar says enough is enough. I believe in myself. I'm going to turn into something beautiful. I want to fly sometime. I want to fly. I want to be beautiful. The caterpillar goes into a cocoon, and our place, our cocoon will be isolating ourselves, right? Working on ourselves, going within. The caterpillar goes within, works on itself, and then what happens? It breaks out of the cocoon and it flies away to a beautiful butterfly. We all have a beautiful butterfly inside of us.
Ooh.
We all have it inside of us. You have the potential to be the best version of yourself, but you just gotta tap into yourself. Meditation, go within. Go within and find who you are. Become that butterfly.
A butterfly effect. Nice. So how can positive thinking influence others, areas of life like relationships, productivity, or self-confidence?
Oh, I love that question. I'm gonna touch on self-confidence. If you know me before I started working on myself, taking this very seriously, I wasn't the type to go on social media and post every day, stuff like that, make a video, but
First of all, you didn't even know that you were so handsome. I was like, not because you're my husband, but I think that it's important, right, as a spouse, that you remind your spouse, or that you tell your spouse, like how great you are, how handsome you are, how beautiful you are, because that also helps you. And I think that was not something that you were accustomed to, right? And it's important that you knew that, right? Because that helped you also with your confidence, right? So let's talk about the confidence.
Oh, like I mentioned, the confident part where I didn't have it in me to go and post a video about, motivation, sharing my story. I always believe that, why would I put my personal life out there? What people are gonna think, what they're gonna say, but I got to the point where my confidence was high enough. I motivated myself so much that I believe, no, I gotta share this. I gotta share my transformation. And me sharing this story could impact you, the person that's watching right now. I don't know what you're going through, but positive thinking, could definitely improve your mental health and your well-being. And it could also improve your relationship,
And it did. Because I used to tell, there was once upon a time that I was like, oh God, like every time I told him something, it was like a song and a dance. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm getting tired. Like, I'm just getting tired of like asking you a question, because it's like I told you we're gonna go somewhere like a week, like a month, in a month, and you're like, I'm tired. Like, how you tired already? It was like that mentality. Like, how do you like put that already in the universe? So I mean, I'm gonna commend you. Like, you've come a long way, because from the person that you were, like when we first met, you've come a long way. And of course, in between, you had your struggles, but from the beginning, it was tough. For a person like me, that always sees the glass half full, always sees the best in everyone. Like, you could be the crappiest person, and I say, well, you know what, maybe the person's having a bad day, maybe I'm gonna give the person a chance. I'll give you another chance, and I'll give you another chance until I can't anymore. Like, that's me. I'm that person, but I also am that person that doesn't like to have that toxic energy suck the life out of me. But I still give people opportunities, and to have my husband, like, in the beginning, it was like, oh my God, like, what are you doing? Like, you draining me. It was bad. And when I tell you now, it's like, I watch it, I'm like, that's my man. That's my man. Mm-hmm. It feels so good,
No, 100%. It makes me feel, proud, that me watching my transformation is like, wow, man. Only a few months ago I was like this, and now I'm like doing all of this. I created a YouTube channel. I would have never had the guts to do that. Check it out, Epic Venture Motivation. It's growing, but I'm getting there. I created a social media page where it's all about motivation. The channel is all about motivation, and I go in there, I post a video sometimes. But it's all about, like I said before, what are you gonna do to make a difference? And to me, when I'm gone from this world. I want people to see those videos and see that content, you know, and bring themselves up, you know, and just believe that, you know, that you could change. You could change, definitely change. If I could do it, you could do it also.
So let me ask you a question. So what would you tell somebody right now? There's a person out there right now that's going through, that's in the rut, that's going through the same situation that you were in, you know, or probably worse. We don't know, right, what people are going through. What are the steps that you think that they should take? Like, what recommendation do you give them?
Well, for the person that's watching right now, the first thing you should do is recognize that there is a problem and that you need help. That's the first step. You gotta seek the help, speak to a therapist, listen to what they gotta say. Not just listen and not do anything. You gotta also put in the work. Do what they want you to do. You know, take that advice. If you need to go to an institution, if it's that bad, go away. Go to an institution. I did it. I was away for 11 days and I learned a lot. To me, it was like a retreat, a reset. I learned coping skills. I went to different classes and I got connected to therapists and a psychiatrist. You know, unfortunately, I had to be on medication, you know, but little by little, you start deviating from the medication, you know, you start working on yourself and applying those coping skills. So that's the first thing you should do. Just recognize that there's a problem and just do whatever it is that they recommend you to do and stick to a plan, you know, make it, that's discipline. Develop a plan and do it every single day until you become that person that you want to be.
And my recommendations to any spouse, right? Girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, partner. If you have someone going through something, be there for them, right? Those 11 days were like the longest 11 days of my life, right? I was there every day. My husband, at one point he was like, don't come back, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna come every day. The only day that I didn't go was the last day, and the only reason why I didn't go was because I was already sick. I actually got sick being in the hospital every day, really bad. I was really sick, and I couldn't even get up from bed. But and I also was tired, like my body was shutting down. I didn't realize it because I was just like a robot. I was just numb the entire time that I was going through the motion. I didn't tell him anything because I didn't want my husband to feel even worse than what he was already. But, you know, be there for each other, all right? Understand that you're not alone. And if your spouse and your partner is not with you, find a family member, all right, that understands you. And find a group. There's a lot of groups out there, you know, that are supportive, that understand. All right, I know that mental health for some people are like taboo. You know, some people think that, oh my goodness, you know, this person has mental health issues, I don't want no part of them. But no, we need to instead of like pushing people away, we need to bring them closer to us and help them.
Yeah, 100%. Would you say that word sympathetic? You gotta be empathetic.
Empathetic. Yeah,
you know,
you have to have empathy.
Don't judge, you know, because of what they're going through. Don't judge them. You know, we all are work in progress. We all have different stories, you know, different struggles and obstacles that we have to deal with. Some are harder than others, you know.
And we're not perfect.
Yes, definitely.
Is there anything else that you would like to speak about?
Yes, I want to also, one of the things that I recommend people to do is that never lose your faith in God. You know, just keep believing no matter what, and believe in that higher power. Call it God, the universe. There is a higher power that we're going back to. You know, just think about it. We're a force of energy, and we're part of that energy. And this energy source that exists, we're going back to that energy source. So remember, you are part of the source. All right, you are part of the source. Another thing that I want to share this book that I read. I want to thank my brother for this book also. It helped me along the journey. It's from David Baer. It's called A Changed Mind. Engineer Your Reality. Rewiring Your Brain. So it is possible to rewire your brain. We live in a society where we are raised a certain way, and we believe that we can change that. This is our life, and that we're limited to doing certain things, and that's it. So he talks about our limiting beliefs and how to get rid of the limiting beliefs, and you could rewire your brain. And it really helped me rewire my brain, you know, to the point where every single day I'm doing something for my mind, my body, you know, and my soul, practicing, you know, all, you know, positivity, everything, you know, it has become part of my life and something that I practice faithfully every single day. So I recommend, you know, read that book, you know, start with that. Also getting that book, I highly recommend it.
So I want to thank you. Well, one thing that that I want to tell everyone, like, you, although you don't give yourself enough credit, right? Very humble, right? But you are a very sharp man. And the fact that you read the Bible how many times?
A few times.
Like 3 or 4 times, right? The whole Bible, all right? That to me, like, is a testament of, you know, you were trying to find something. And that's another episode that, you know, that we'll have, you know, about faith, about spirituality, and about, you know, religion. Because, you know, I think that we all have that all confused, right? You know, I think that you're a perfect example of how a person that was raised in a household that was not you know, the children didn't go to church, and you're such a spiritual soul, right? And I really, you know, commend you for that. Well, thank you for being here. All right.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure sharing my story and talking about mental health. It's something that we need to listen to and pay attention to. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Any questions?
I enjoyed it.
Just reach out, comment on Let's Get Real if you want to see more of these, you know, episodes about mental health. I'm glad, you know, to talk about it and to keep track of our journey, you know, in this world.
Thank you.
Thank you.